So let's go through the accounting journal entries for Procure to Pay. The next set of entries would be on purchases or accounts payables. So let's begin with purchase of inventory or asset on credit. The entry would be to debit inventory or asset and credit to vendor payable. The entry on account of expenses incurred for goods or services purchased on credit, the entry would be debit expenses, credit to vendor payable. Payment to vendor is always a debit vendor payable and credit to bank. Payment to vendor after discount, debit vendor payable, credit to bank and credit to discount to the extent of the amount allowed as discount. Advance to vendor, debit advance to vendor and credit to bank. Purchase of assets against advance, debit asset, credit to advance to vendor. We are crediting the advance to vendor because we have already given them the advance. Let's quickly look at the payroll related accounting entries. For the payroll payment, debit payroll expense, credit to taxes payable to government, credit to bank. Payroll advance payment, it is debit payroll advance, credit to bank. And the entry for payroll advance adjustment during the payroll payout, debit payroll expense, credit to tax payable to government, credit to payroll advance, and credit to bank. After adjusting the payroll advance, whatever is remaining is paid to bank. Let us look at the accounting entries for accruals. For accrual of any expense, debit expense and credit would be to expense payable. If you take the example of salary expense as an expense, you'll have to debit salary expense and credit will be to salary payable. If you take the example of fuel as an expense, the entry would be debit fuel expense, credit to fuel expense payable. Payment to vendor, it would be debit expense payable and credit to bank.